Oh, hey there, I didn't see you. I hope you're having a great day. I'm out here with Mr. Sean Hall of Nobraques, enjoying the beautiful Angeles Crest Highway. Keep up the good work.
You know what's so funny? I was talking to Am and Email about this. I don't know, man. I just think that every cyclist on the planet would probably prefer zip wheels over any wheel. I know I'm going to get shot at. I'm going to get hate mail, but I'm just saying every cyclist I talk to, I'm like, what's your dream wheel? They might go, if I'm doing this, I'll do this. Or if I'm doing that. But if I say, hey, you had to ride a wheel for the rest of your life, what's it going to be?
303.
Right.
Specifically a 303.
303s are the number one, and then they go maybe a 202.
Yeah.
But it's always zip all the time, every time.
Like I have 303s for my road racing bike, and then on time trial, zip disc, 808 front. Like, what else do you want? Like, nothing's faster.
Oh, and you're not sponsored by Zip, so
no, it's just
you're not saying it's just because
I will spend my own hard-earned money to buy zips. Plus, also like they retain their value,
right?
Like crazy,
right?
Like I had a pair of zips for like literally years, and then sold it for basically what I bought them for.
What?
Because they were in such good condition, you know, and like the bearings last pretty good. All I have to do is replace the bearings.
Right.
But like my zips are like stupid, strong, and crazy. Like I'll ride them in the dirt, they're fine. Put them on the cross bike, they're fine.
Nice. Okay.
Race them, they're fine.
All right. Official wheel of what's the name of your company?
Oh, SoCal Bike PT.
Official wheel of SoCal Bike PT. Zip wheels, 303s, 808s.
Does it all.
Does it all. Yeah. Dirt, air, pavement. Have you ridden these on any other planet? So would they work on Jupiter, Mars, or?
Well, Jupiter's a gaseous planet. So there's not really a lot of places you can ride bikes. And plus, it's highly inhabitable for humans. But like Mars would probably be good because it's like really dusty and dry. So there's,
You literally just really answered that question.
My kids are like really into science, and we read a lot of books about like space and stuff. So like really into that right now.
Okay, so have you seen Neil deGrasse Tyson's what was it called? His series when he explained.
Oh yeah.
Okay, how many times have you watched it?
Probably once through because my kids are so young they don't really understand it yet. They're just like intrigued by the visuals.
Sure.
But like I was sitting there enthralled.
It blessed my whole everything.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna watch TV, I'm gonna have something that blows my mind and how I view reality. Right.
This is funny because I love Neil deGrasse, and I YouTube him all the time, and I see his interviews with like Joe Rogan. That's
the funniest.
Did you seen this?
Yeah, it talks about like why he doesn't have a case on his phone.
Right, and he's like doing like this.
Yeah, because he's like, why do like gunslingers and soldiers practice pistol tricks? Because you're not supposed to drop it. That's the whole point. You're supposed to drop your gun. Right. Like that's the whole point why he doesn't have a case on his phone. He's someone that whenever you ask him a question, he has always thought of the answer before you've ever asked him.
Absolutely.
He probably just sits around thinking of things like, well, someone ever asked me about this. Here's why.
Right.
Like he was talking about like why there will never be like a full moon on Easter or something. Because he's like
in that same interview.
No, this is a different.
Video. Okay.
He's like the Gregorian calendar was set up in a way that Easter falls on a specific Sunday every year, which cannot fall where a full moon is because it's just not. I was like, Happy Easter. That's all. Like,
Happy Easter, bitch.
Yeah, that's where it was.
That's funny. Okay, so SoCal PT.
SoCal Bike PT.
Bike PT. But you don't just do bike stuff. You can do anything.
That's true. Yeah. So like my true passion and like my favorite thing is riding bikes and helping people ride bikes pain-free because it's such an amazing experience to be able to move under your own power at kind of like a faster pace than you would walk. Right. So like as human beings, we were meant to walk around. That's a certain speed, even running. Right. But when you all of a sudden move under your own power and you're faster than that, there's something really appealing to that. And it's like universal. You take anyone, they go for a bike ride and it's just a little bit faster than normal, and they're like, wow, that was really cool. Right. And that experience ends up being like a vehicle for like so many people's like self-actualization in life, or like how they kind of like find purpose or they find escape. Like just the fact that you can move under your own power and experience the world a different way is this great tool that people use for so many different advantages. Some people make a career out of it. They race bikes. Some people, they just have a way to like feel empowered.
Right.
Some people, they use it just because it's super fun and it's fun as hell. Right. But when you get someone who's learned that that's kind of like a normal thing that they can do, and you take that away from them because of like knee pain or back pain or something that like kind of snuck up on them, and they kind of have a turning point, they can be like, well, I love this thing like crazy, riding bikes in every capacity, but this issue is keeping me from doing that. So what do? Do I like say, well, that was cool, I don't ride bikes anymore? And I've met those people, you know, when they see me, like my neighbor, who's like, oh yeah, I used to ride bikes. And I go, okay, cool. What happened?
Right.
Oh, you know, my back was hurting, and you know, my doctor or someone very poorly advised me, hey, don't do that anymore.
Right.
Not, let's figure out what's causing that to get it better. They just said, like, hey, stop that, without any consideration for what that meant to that person.
Right.
So when I see that, I go, it's good for the world if more people ride bikes. It is.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, so you have this perspective on riding bikes, on health, on mental fitness, soulish fitness, the levels of how a bike hits a person on so many levels.
Yeah.
You have a perspective on this. I think this is an idea for you. I think you should go on a tour. See?
Tour.
See, I just hit you?
A
tour. No, you need to be on a SoCal Bike PT tour. You need to have classes at different bike shops and just have these like little workshops where you say, hey, on Tuesday night, we got Timmy from SoCal Bike PT coming in because Monster.
It's keeping us going. Here
it is. Go. No, seriously, because I think, I don't know if you do this already, but I think when you just start to kind of, you know, get people together in these little pockets, like going out to PV and doing some stuff like Surf City, going to Santa Clarita at the new opening of the N-Cycle shop.
Yeah, love you, N-Cycle. You guys are great.
That's right.
Thanks, Dom.
Thanks, Mike. And Mark.
La.
Yeah.
Sandy Monster.
Mark, he called you Mike.
Mark, I'm sorry, bro.
I'm going to edit that out.
Edit that out.
No, I'm not. So, no, but,
sorry.
But no, doing like a little tour where, you know, have like, you know, maybe going to the N-Cycle, Korea, you know, some other, you know, performance, or maybe Paddler's Fork, something like that, and just kind of
setting that up actually.
You are setting that up.
Yeah, I just met with Dom at N-Cycle.
Okay.
And we're gonna start going out to like some of the group rides.
Yes.
And doing something beforehand where we can kind of like, you know, do some injury screening stuff. Because what usually happens is a problem doesn't become a problem until someone actually like is aware, and usually people are aware when it inhibits them from doing something.
Okay.
So like, unless there's a lot of, you know, pain is our body's like alarm system. It's this built-in thing that says like, hey, there is a problem or a potential problem. That's all it is. Doesn't really mean something's wrong.
Right.
Just there's some kind of potential problem. Most people don't ever pay attention to that alarm until it starts being painful. Most people snooze that alarm somehow. And then that alarm becomes too persistent and they want to do something about it. As soon as they want to do something about it, people have very limited options. Their basic options are like, well, what would you do? Probably go see my doctor. Well, most times it's not something that requires like a physician level intervention. It's some, you know, they're, you know, typically woefully equipped to deal with musculoskeletal problems. So then you enter like, well, now who do I go to? Okay, well then that profession is more like a physical therapist. But there's a ton of them out there, and not all of them, most of them don't give a shit about your bike riding goals. I'm dead serious. I would go
I might agree with that.
Someone was like, I remember a story where a bike rider went into the clinic and the PT, and they're like, yeah, my knee starts to hurt. Kind of like mile 40 of like the Saturday ride. And the literal response was like, but you already rode 40 miles. Like, you're fine. And they're just like, I'm out of here. And they came to me and I was like, 40 miles, that's all it is? Like, dude, that's nothing, man. You're not even like, you didn't even make it halfway through the group ride. And so like being able to kind of connect with people who realize that this is a big issue is the hard thing. So there's not a lot of people out there that understand the value of like what bike riding actually means to someone.
Right.
And so one of my advocacies, even if you don't come work with me, like I don't have a scarcity mindset. There are a ton of you out there, more than I could possibly ever help. My biggest advocacy is informing you like, hey, if this is a problem, here's my recommendation of how you go about trying to solve this.
Right.
A lot of these things can be solved just by doing a little self-research for the right things and trying it on yourself. We call it an N of 1. Like in science, when you have a group of people and it's a study, N, a number of people. So if you do a study with 10 participants, that's an N of 10 or an N of 10,000.
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, you got to practice on yourself, which is like an N of 1 case. Like try what works on yourself and kind of figure that out. A lot of people do that.
Okay.
And at a certain point, they can solve their own problems. And then at a certain point, they go, well, this isn't working anymore.
Right.
Enter me, Dr. Woo, who can say, what have you done up to this point? I can bring a fresh perspective with a little deeper level of understanding with this like test retest mindset. We're like, hey, let's try some things. Let's evolve it. Let's make a change and see back in here. We do something that is custom for you because you are a unique snowflake.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have a problem. Whenever I go climbing, especially with guys your size, I always find myself...
Calling me small?
I'm saying smaller than me.
Smaller than me?
Smaller than me.
Oh, okay.
Smaller than me.
I'm not that small.
Whoa, you're smaller than me.
That's fair enough.
Right. So whenever I go climbing with a group of you guys, I'm always the last person up the hill.
Okay.
How do we fix that?
It's a couple approaches. The first one is like the physics of it.
It was a joke, Timmy.
Oh, okay.
No. So listen.
I can't. Apparently, I need to loosen up a little bit.
No.
I'm too passionate about trying to solve problems for people because
Yeah.
they come to me with these things, and I'm like, it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And I seriously give like so many fucks about it. Like, it's not something I'm like, whatever, just move on. Like, I literally like.
If you had to count the fucks, how many?
I can't. I literally spend my free time like at night actively thinking about trying to help like my patients, clients, followers' issues. Like when they hit me up with something and I go, ooh, I don't really know. I have an idea. I will literally stay up like all night.
See, you're really passionate about this.
Yeah, and we need more of that. Like,
okay. But I have a question for you.
Oh, give me your question.
Okay, you don't look Asian.
Oh, we're going there, okay.
No, we're not really going there. I'm just saying. Woo.
Yeah.
W-O-O?
Yeah.
That sounds Chinese.
It is Chinese.
Okay, but you don't look Asian at all.
I know.
So, would
you want the backstory?
I would love the backstory to your last name. First of all, let's just say this. You know of this group called the Wu-Tang Clan, right?
Oh, I've heard of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Right. It's not spelled the same.
Yeah, it's a triple U.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is,
I heard they're nothing to fuck with.
They are not. They are not. And Cash rules everything around me.
Oh, true.
They did that song. So here's the deal. You have Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have your last name, Wu.
Yeah.
In the urban community, when they say Timmy Woo, they're probably expecting someone coming from that Wu-Tangish, like, that's a hardcore name. That's like, don't fuck with Timmy Woo. He will murder you. He slaps babies. He kicks old people. He does cocaine. He's drunk half the time, and he's upset most of the time. Timmy Woo.
Wow.
Tim Woo is not to be played with.
True.
So that's not you at all. You're very passionate about cycling. You wear spandex and stuff. You have mousse in your hair. You like Monster drinks. Pomade.
Looks good.
It looks good. Thanks, you just got a fresh haircut?
Yeah.
When? Yesterday?
For you.
No, you didn't.
On Sunday.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Lies.
Yeah, you're special.
No breaks. So this is a fresh haircut.
Yeah.
Can you just turn to the side for a second? Oh, that's fresh. Yeah. Look at that. Oh! I like this side better, though.
My beard. Yeah. There we go.
Okay. All right, we got on top.
Yeah. What are we into? The origins of my name?
Yes!
Okay, so...
No, but the world wants to know. No one says this. We all speak of this. What does Woo mean? I'm lying. No one said this to me. I just looked at your name and was like, Timmy Woo? It's spelled W-O-O. Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
So, my dad's side is from China.
What?
My grandparents came here in 1949. So, like, in 1949, kind of like 50 around that time, this was like the communist revolution is going across China. Mao Zedong's army is just like raping and pillaging villages like crazy.
Literally, I heard
just insane.
Right.
So my grandfather came here by himself and like started a fish and poultry shop in Bell on Atlantic Boulevard. Went back to retrieve his wife, with my grandma, who like there's this crazy story like her escaping like her village is like invaded. She like hid in an outhouse to like escape, and then like they like were smuggled to Hong Kong where they had to get married again under the new government to legally leave. And then they were on a boat on the way here on the USS Gordon, where my uncle was born. That's why he's named Gordon. And then when they got here, like a year later, my dad was born. That was like 1953. So that's how my Chinese family like got here.
Wait, so you are 25% Asian, Chinese?
I'm half.
Wait,
I'm half Chinese.
So grandparents. Wait.
Yeah, my grandparents from China. My dad's full Chinese. I'm half. And then my mom's side is just like, you know, your complete amalgamation of like white Anglo-Saxon Protestants and stuff across there, but mostly from Wales. Like my family's maiden name was like
I wouldn't say that you look Chinese even a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of like.
But now that you're saying it, I can see it in
I'm a bit ambiguous.
Yeah. You could be a few things.
Yeah, and I get that all the time. So like when I was working a lot and I had a name tag and said Tim Woo, like more than half the people they'd be like, what? You know, they'd awkwardly be like,
Right.
Or you know, I had, God bless some like really older patients I used to work with. They'd be like, "Are you Oriental?"
Oriental.
I was like,
the old word.
I'm just here to help you.
Right. Why gotta be all that?
Doesn't matter.
Right.
So at a certain, I used to get all turned off by that and be like, oh, all weird. Then if I just started like fully embrace it. So I was just like, you know what? Cool. Let me get my family name just tattooed on my arm, so everyone sees it. Like, here you go.
I love that.
And it makes it real easy. And I made a commitment a long time ago as a therapist just to be like, you know what? I was always told, like, you can't be successful or professional if you have, like, tattoos or non-conservative haircut. And I was like, you know what? Forget that. I'm going to get tattoos openly and have, like, an undercut and just show people that, like, yeah, let's break down that, like, stereotype and just show them, like, actually, I'm an actually good provider. Yeah. And we do that. And, like, even now, like, I still do like home health on the side because I really like working with like old people who are stuck in their homes because there's a lot of value in helping those kind of people. Okay. And I walk in like this, and they're like, right. But I show them, hey, let's get to the root of your problem. Let's help you out. Let me show you that I know what I'm doing. And I bring that same passion when I work with like bike riders. Yeah. To like elderly people at home. I don't know. I love those people. Sure. You know, because like. I've seen too many of them get left behind and not give good care. So like when I go work with them, it's the same stuff that I do in people in my clinic. But mostly I see people who ride bikes in my clinic.
I want to see this tattoo. Can you make it a little bit? Okay, so I don't know how to read. Is that Cantonese?
That's my name.
But what, because there's different dialects, right? It's not just, it's Mandarin.
So my family comes from Canton, so they speak Cantonese. But I don't speak Cantonese because when they came here in the 50s, like the McCarthy era, it was like, hey, you know, assimilate or leave. So full assimilation. And here we are now.
Is that upside down?
No, that's
right side up.
Right like that.
That is so sick, man.
Thanks, man.
You know what's so crazy? Because, oh, you like it?
This is potent. Like,
oh, you feel it?
Yeah, when I came in here, I was dragging a little bit, and now I feel like I want to just like sprint some stairs or something. Or,
well,
like,
we're gonna hopefully climb up to Wilson after this.
Oh, cool!
And hopefully we'll do some sprint work there. You're gonna love this climb, by the way.
Yeah. My sprint is terrible. We should not sprint.
I was joking.
I got no pop.
Well, okay. I'm just saying, there's no sprinting. I won't be sprinting. I rode Easy Ride 2 days ago. Yeah. And my Garmin told me to stay off the bike for 51 hours.
It's a long time.
Exactly.
It's like 2 days and some.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Exactly. So I've been low on the energy lately. So when we go climbing, it's cool. Yeah, I'm not trying to.
Fun.
Right. We'll get there.
Nice.
But you've never been to Clear Creek.
No.
You've never been to Red Box.
Nope.
And you've never been to Wilson.
No, I know. I've been riding bikes in Southern California for like 9 or 10 years now. Okay. And so I live way over in like Fontana, Rialto area. Sure. So I go to like Baldy, or I go up like GMR. Into like GMR, or I go into like the San Bernardino Mountains towards like Arrowhead or Big Bear. Like I go that way. Oh. Or I go up like more like to the high desert to like Wrightwood or like stuff. Oh, like
Wrightwood. That. I did that Wrightwood, right?
So I'll take like Lone Pine up to Highway 2 to Wrightwood. Like I'll go that route.
I came from here, from the bottom of the 2, the start, and went all the way to Wrightwood and back.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, it's so beautiful. But you already know you've been to Wrightwood.
Yeah.
But you haven't coming back up.
No, not yet.
Okay, so when we do this ride after this, hopefully I got to see where I'm at on time. But I really want you to experience Clear Creek, Red Box, and
let's do it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Because the view is incredible, and you're gonna love it. So okay, so all right, so getting to know about your story, your parents, your grandparents' story, very interesting. See, when I first met you, we were on a group ride. It was a Wednesday ride with Dom, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it one of the morning rides?
It was a morning, yeah.
From Sal's?
Yes. Hunter was there.
Best bagels. Get yourself an Eggle.
Right.
Eggle breakfast sandwich.
I didn't know that was a thing there. Is it?
Yeah, it's a breakfast. It's a bagel with an egg on it.
Oh.
So naturally.
Okay.
Eggle.
There it is. So we met in we clicked. So we were cool from first ride.
Yeah.
And we've continued to grow our relationship. We don't see each other a lot, but we do see each other. But it's always cool when we see each other.
Yes.
Right. So now that I know a bit of your back history and your story, you went from here to here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I like you a little bit more now.
That's good.
Yeah. So
I always want you to like me more.
Well, we can arrange some things.
That's cool.
I can like you a little bit more.
All right, cool. That's good.
Creepy.
I mean, I meant like we can go right.
I'm just fucking with you, dude.
You're reading into this a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's my job. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm a cyclist.
You are.
And no, I'm not speaking for me. I'm just preparing a situation.
Let's see.
What would you say are your top 5 or 10 things you would advise a cyclist? Just some preventative things, not so much like I have an injury, but hey, you're just getting on bikes.
Yeah.
Watch out for this. Make sure you do this. Don't do this. Blah blah blah. So you had to kind of go down a list and give like Timmy Woo's 10 Commandments.
Well, 10's a lot. Let's start with like 5.
Let's do 5.
I like 5.
We can do 3 if you want.
3. Let me just start.
Yeah.
So I think like one of the biggest things I want people to like realize.
Which one is this?
This is probably the big one.
This is one. Okay.
This is kind of like the theme that dictates all things that I do.
The number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
All right.
Number 1. So we have to recognize that there's 2 types of movements in this world. There's human movements, and there's like natural movements, and there's man-made movements.
Mm-hmm.
So what we mean by that is like through the time span of evolution of human beings, we've basically been designed and evolved to walk, run, squat up and down, kind of carry heavy things, basically those things. The bicycle, depending on which version of it you think is like the actual true change-driven bicycle invention, is maybe like 150 years old, maybe less.
Right.
The point is, bicycling is a man-made movement. You and I were not designed to do this thing.
Right.
So that's like the first truth you kind of have to honor.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you honor that, a lot of this other stuff becomes easier.
Okay.
So we were not designed to ride bikes. It's a man-made movement. So with respect, when you put your body on this machine, which was engineered to be perfectly symmetrical and is mass-produced typically for like certain body types, you are now taking an imperfect, asymmetrical human being, making it on a perfect machine and making it do a movement it's not designed for.
Right.
So there's some adaptation that has to come along with that, and there's some maladaptation that comes along with that.
What does this word mean?
So maladaptation would be like adaptations that are bad.
Got you.
Like malware. Mal's.
Mal bad.
Some of the adaptations that are good when you start riding is like, hey, your cardiovascular system becomes a little bit more effective and efficient because you increase the demand for oxygenated blood in your muscles when you ride, so your heart realizes it has to pump more. There you go. That's when you first start riding, you get out of breath really easily.
Right.
A couple years in, you can spin around, you barely even breathe heavily.
Right.
But some of the maladaptations come from the fact that you are now in a flexed position a lot. And that you are like really weight bearing through your hands and you're weight bearing through your perineum, which is like your saddle area. And you're now, if you're clipped in, your feet are in a locked position in a like very fixed state.
Right.
So the big thing to remember is like, okay, a lot of the problems that come up on bikes are typically related to the fact that you were not designed to do that. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. It just means you have to do some off the bike work to prepare yourself to ride bikes more comfortably first and to perform better. So this is where like bike fitting and what I do as a physical therapist really meet, because there's two halves to this equation. There is making your body able to tolerate and interact with the machine.
Right.
Then there's customizing the machine to fit your body.
Right.
Neither one is a full solution. I could take a person off the bike, make them the most resilient, strongest, most flexible, most controlled person in the world. But if their bike fits like total crap, they're not going to enjoy it.
Right.
Same thing. A lot of times people have some type of pain and they'll try to fit it away. A lot of times you can do that. You can fit someone, optimize their interaction with the machine better so they don't have as much pain. But at a certain point, that underlying problem is still there and it'll come back kind of a little bit worse. So a lot of people I work with, they've had a fit, it's kind of taken some of their problems away, but then we take away the bike, we can identify and expose what's actually wrong, and we can build them back up this way. So that's the overall theme of what I do.
Okay, so one thing you just said to me that stuck out, you talked about maintenance off the bike.
So critical.
Okay, so that will be your number one thing. You have to, like, I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
For so many years, like, my off-the-bike maintenance has been crap.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible.
Because it sucks to do.
It sucks. You don't want to do it.
No.
You're tired. You want to hurry up and get on the bike.
Yeah.
There's all these reasons why, like, I'm not doing it. Like, literally, like, I can't remember. I can probably remember maybe on one hand how many times I actually rolled my legs out.
Yeah.
Or properly stretched.
Or something.
Like literally 5, maybe if that times I've done that. And I've ridden sometimes 300 miles a week.
Yeah.
I did 10,000 plus, almost 11,000 miles last year.
Yeah. So
I'm doing these long rides. I got a ride this Saturday, 300 miles I'm doing. So, you feel me? Yeah. So I'm so like thankful to God that I haven't had any like serious like things. But I know because a friend of mine, I don't know, his name is Panda. He's a really tall guy. He climbs a lot. I don't know.
Like that's his birth name is Panda?
No.
Oh. That's just
well,
like
he hates when people calls him by his government name.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so I won't do that. Put him out like that. But
okay. Anyways,
we call him Panda.
Yeah.
Now Panda, his girl is a PT as well.
Nice.
So he gets like the Tour de France like treatment. So he comes home, he gets
the concierge service.
Oh man, like literally.
Honey, I'm home.
Right. He shows up. He's getting stretched. He's getting like the whole thing, and like he was telling me, he was like, dude, if you start doing off the bike maintenance, like your climbing, your sprinting, your endurance will increase like 100-fold.
So like I don't say off the bike maintenance. Okay. So maintenance implies like you're just doing things to prevent something bad from happening. Like you maintain your car so it doesn't break down.
Right.
I tend to like help educate people and kind of like sell this idea that like off the bike work actually increases your performance.
Right.
So like there's two kind of reasons I approach why you do stuff off the bike.
Okay.
If someone comes to me and they're like, right now I can't even ride because my back hurts so much, my neck, my knee, that like I can't even tolerate spinning to the coffee shop. That person's in a bad place. Like we gotta kind of take a step away from the stimulus of riding the bike for a little bit.
Yeah.
And expose the underlying really problem of why, and then kind of build you back up.
Okay.
Those are like pretty more straightforward.
Okay.
Now the other ones are those like, yeah, you know what? I'm actually kind of like okay on the bike. It's only like in very specific high intensity scenarios or really long things, I get this little tiny issue. It's not really preventing me.
Right.
Or there's people that are like, I train, and I'm still plateauing like crazy. And they come to me and like, what is it? And I'm like, well, your body needs a little bit of like variability and some like novel stimulus. Like let's get off the bike, kind of expose some areas for improvement and really build up those component parts of riding a bike. So when you get back on, you are now like a lot stronger. Like the funny thing about riding bikes is riding bikes makes you really good at riding bikes and nothing else.
Yeah.
So our bodies, remembering this is a man-made movement, when your body and your nervous system gets so used to only being riding bikes. Basically, wake up, eat, ride bikes, maybe do your day job, whatever. But when you take someone out of that and you get them to do a little bit of work off the bike that kind of gives their body something that's a little bit novel and new, when they get back on, it's like looking at something with fresh eyes. All of a sudden, so a lot of my patients, when they come back, not only they're like, hey, my knee feels better. I'm like, yeah, that's great, cool. Also, when I was riding, like, I could feel my hip and my, like, legs working in some way I'd never felt before.
Right.
And I was able to be more, like, stable when I was doing seated climbing. Sure. If they're in the dirt, like, I was able to keep traction better during loose stuff.
Okay.
I was able to put in, like, bigger time trialing efforts. Like, those kind of performance side of it is really, like, the untapped potential of doing this off-the-bike work. What's weird is in our culture of cycling, it's mostly like, hey, ride as much as possible, and that's how you get good. You have to ride a certain amount to get good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you have to put in the work. But if you look at the people at the top end of performance, what you see on, like, social media or their persona is, like, them racing, them winning, them training. Very rarely do you actually see, like, what they do, like, okay, on the living room floor, in between all those. Sure. And those people, once in a while you see them squatting heavy things, stuff like that, but, like, once in a while you get a peek of pulling the curtain back, what happens behind the scenes, and all that behind the scenes work for the people who are in the know, they're like, oh yeah, that's the critical thing. Right. That's the thing.
Okay, so stretch before or after you ride?
Depends.
Oh man.
Sorry, I'm a doctor. No straight answers. It's always.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
So,
generally speaking, can you say generally? Because I know
generally speaking,
a snowflake.
Generally speaking, the older kind of thought is like static, prolonged stretching inhibits muscle performance before you go do something. Right. I agree. Okay. But if you feel really freaking tight in like your hip flexors because you just sat in the car for the 2 hours it took to drive to No Break Studio. Stretching your hip flexors out a little bit so that they feel better is not a bad idea. Okay. So we get back to like what is stretching. So like most people think that when you stretch something, you're actually taking its physiological length or anatomical length and making it longer. Right. Like you take some Play-Doh and you go whoop, and now it's longer. Right. Not in that 30 seconds you're holding it. No. Typically what you're doing is you're putting a tensile force through that muscle. It's telling your nervous system to relax it a little bit so that now you can get back to its resting length tension. Okay. You're not actually stretching it longer. It's just a little nervous system hack. Okay. So because of that, like you'll see me, I'll stretch my riders before races. Okay. And someone will be like, what are you doing? That's bad. I'm like, well, his hip is tight as hell. Right. He will feel better and ride better if it's a little bit looser. So I'll stretch someone before a race. Okay. But having said that, you shouldn't like sit there and stretch for like 10, 30 minutes straight beforehand because you're going to be a little too inhibited to go out there. But it all depends. All right. But definitely after, and here's why. Because when you're riding a bike, you spend so much time in a prolonged position where very specific muscle groups are in what's called a shortened position. Okay. So like your hip flexors, the muscles that flex your hip are in a shortened position. So they're just constantly like this. Your shoulders tend to be like this. So they're your front of your chest in a shortened position. Your neck, if you're holding it up and it's like crazy, like this is in a shortened position. You do that for a long period of time, it's going to do two things. Like those muscles get real pissed off and angry because they're just constantly holding your neck up. They're constantly holding your hip up. So stretching them out afterwards to kind of like calm your nervous system down and return them back to their resting length. Got you. That's maintenance. Got you. So okay. It all depends.
So, SoCal Bike PT.
That's me.
On Instagram.
Yeah. At SoCal Bike PT on Instagram. Right. Atterboy.
Okay. And you have your own Instagram as well. It's isn't it something else or?
Oh, like my personal one? Yeah. Man, I have not used that in a long time.
Okay, so just go to SoCal Bike PT.
I think my personal one is at Timmy Woo.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's what
I'm now at SoCal Bike PT is where like, if it's like physical therapy related, like mindset training kind of stuff. Okay. Like educational things. Basically, like I put stuff out on Instagram. Yeah. For a couple reasons. One is just to educate some people.
Right.
Like, if they're scrolling through and they read something for like 3 seconds and they learned one tiny little thing, mission accomplished.
Got you.
I don't care if I have 10 followers or 10,000.
Okay.
If one person learns a little something, my mission is accomplished. Like, I could care less about gaining more followers.
Okay.
The other thing I have on there is I put out like content of exercises on and off the bike, stuff like that, mostly to kind of like introduce this thought that like, hey, when you do stuff off the bike, it's of benefit, or hey, sometimes someone's scrolling through and I'll be blunt. It'll be like, do this for knee pain. And if it gets someone to kind of stop and be like, well, my knees hurt.
Yeah.
That looks interesting. Sparked it in their mind that there is something to do out there.
Right.
Because too many times, and I get this all the time, someone has like their knee pain, they maybe kind of contacting me and they go like, what should I do? Should I go see my doctor? Do I need surgery? Do I need to go get an MRI? And typically my answer is probably not, and probably not. And unfortunately, most people, no one's ever taught them like, hey, here's the algorithm for what you're supposed to do when things start hurting.
Okay.
Most people, they would say, well, something goes hurt, I can see my doctor.
Right.
And then the doctor sends me to some over here and stuff like this. And it's not really like no one takes any agency over their own health.
Right.
It's kind of like they're looking for some authority to just tell them to do things without any of their input.
Right.
And my goal with putting out content is also like, hey, like, hold the phone. This is your body, your life. You have every right to decide what you do to it. And your care provider should not be this authority that like white coat tell you what to do. Okay. They should be like, let's hear where you're at, what your concerns are with your health, what you want to accomplish. I'm going to guide you on the trajectory to get there. Like, I don't fix anybody. If someone comes in, they just want me to fix them. No, like this is not going to work out. I'm not a fixer.
Right.
You're
an educator.
I'm an educator. I'm a coach. I'm a facilitator.
Right.
As a physical therapist, like nobody knows what I do or what we do in general. And it's kind of hard to tell people. Like, I don't really tell people I'm a physical therapist. I tend to tell people like, I coach people. Yeah. I help people. Sure. I try to keep it more broad because typically people think of more traditional physical therapy where a medical doctor does an x-ray, it's not broken, go see therapy for a couple visits, your insurance will pay for, and you're just doing this like dumb little thing. It's like, all right, that's whose job does this all day? Like, right. Get out of here. Yeah. Whereas I'm like, okay, like I go on the full history of you, figure out what the hell you actually want, and then we come up with something custom to get you there. Right. Because a lot of times the people I see, have gone through like the cookie cutter approach where there's like typically you go into some practice and if you're generally this age and kind of present with these type of systems, there's literally an algorithm.
They just say this.
I've worked at this place. It's an algorithm that says, cool, you're this, awesome. Here's the sheet with all the knee exercises. And it's like, but you didn't ask or what I want or even watch me do the thing that hurts. Right. And I throw that shit out. And it's like, cool, let's walk in here from the first day. Let's get you moving. Let's assess everything. And then it's custom. Okay. And that's how people get the best approach.
All right. Results. Let's make a left turn here. We had a conversation about, we kind of see this area of life kind of the same as far as like, it's not a religious type of thing, but it's more of a spirituality, oneness, wholeness kind of like level.
There's an intentional presence with like our spirituality at all times.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have this thing in my mind, like always of like when you say no breaks, when you say, you can do it, when you say, you have everything you need, when you say all these, like even here on my wall it says, God says, the universe, faith says yes. You feel me? Yeah. So. Yes. Right.
Dr. Who says yes.
There it is. So when you say yes, when you feel like when faith is there, the universe, whatever your source is, I don't care what religion you are, but you have a source, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're, what do you call it when they don't?
Agnostic.
Agnostic. It doesn't matter. But some place where you pull from is that source for you that says, yes, you can. Yeah. We talked about goals, right? Yeah. We talked about goals, and we talked about attainable goals, long-term goals, short goals. Yeah. And we kind of feel the same about this being focused about these specific things in your life. If you had to say one thing to somebody who is, let's take away bikes. It doesn't matter. They're trying to start a carpet company, or they're
just a human.
A human
way through life.
A human, just a human.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for them in that arena of their life to add to what you've been talking about on the bike and working off the bike work or just stretching or whatever? Aside from that, what would you say
to any person trying to achieve something great?
Yes.
I'm saying this to myself because it's what I think everyone like me and you who are okay, if you're someone who's actively pursuing some type of very scary goal or vision that is kind of what you think beyond your abilities, and there's a million things that come up and say like, hey, it's not going to happen or something like that. Like, the biggest thing I always tell myself, and I would tell these people, is I'm like, honor the struggle. So like, there's this concept. There's two stories. There's two human stories: struggle and progress.
You said honor the struggle.
Honor the struggle.
Okay, that's key. Honor the struggle.
That's like my biggest thing. Whenever you want to achieve something great, like I said, there's two stories. There's struggle and progress. If you want progress, you have to struggle. The people, and I'm obsessed with reading and learning and mentoring by people who have achieved some level of success. And the common thread through all of this is that they've learned to love the struggle, honor the struggle, fall in love with the effort. You hear this all the time, like fall in love with the process, like these kind of things.
That's my thing.
Yeah, fall in love with the process. And but anyone who's trying to achieve something great, there will be struggle, but you have to reframe it as like, all right, this struggle will pull out of me the best of me to become the next version of myself that I need to be to achieve this goal. Like, I'm only 28. Like, I just started my own practice recently. Like, I am on my own. I'm an entrepreneur. That shit was scary enough.
Absolutely.
And it is a struggle. It's hustling every day. But I honor that struggle because by confronting that directly and saying like, ooh, instead of kind of turning away and trying to avoid the storm of struggle, I go head on into it and just say, hey, I got to harden the fuck up for this. I got to rule 5 this struggle. Yeah. Then what it does is it forces you to do and learn how to do a lot of things that you would never have learned and done before. Right. If you want something you've never had, you're gonna have to do something you've never done.
And you know what's so funny? It's I know people, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing all the time, expecting a different result.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, if you're gonna complain about the same thing, over and over for years after years and do nothing about it, like shut up, like go away, like my wife tells me I complain all the time, but then what I'm complaining about, I actively choose and find a way to fix it so that I don't complain about it anymore. Right. I shouldn't complain so much, but the point is, like, I used to complain like my job was making me do this or that. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my way out of this. I'm gonna make my own dream job. Right. But the choice to do that is hard. It's super easy to complain. It's super easy to put on like that victim chic kind of like, I get attention because I can complain about stuff. Yeah. It's a lot harder to toil in the struggle behind the scenes at your desk at night, working hard towards something. And all of a sudden when you do it, people see like, hey, you just did this. Cool, it happened overnight. I was like, what didn't happen overnight? Like,
it never happens overnight.
Like, that was me up at 4 a.m. and up till midnight, all these nights working on stuff, and it still is.
Still is. And here's the thing, it's never not gonna be that. Because when you take a vision in your own hands and you're responsible for it, people, and this is no slight to people who have jobs working for other people. Because that's a part of the process that you have to, because we all started somewhere working under someone, and we're hopefully going to the next level. But when you take those things into your hands, that vision, people from the outside thinks that it gets easier.
Oh, it gets exponentially harder.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so all right, you say this. All right, so I have let's just say, okay, I'm doing my music, doing No Breaks and some other stuff and all these different little things. And they go, oh man, you seem like you have the perfect life. Well, it's a price that I have to pay. Yeah. So like literally, and I know I'm getting better at this, but I literally get no sleep. Yeah. I'm literally up at 5:30 almost every morning. I'm like going to bed at like 2, 3 in the morning. I'm over here taking this thing, flying this place, taking my bike over here, and then like setting this up and then doing this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like actually there. It's like because it's mine, I have to pay attention to the details. So it's like I can't just say, hey, you do this or I'm not going to worry about this. It takes more time, more effort, more mental capacity, more spiritual shooting out faith rays at stuff and more work.
But is the benefit you get from it worth every ounce of effort?
I love it.
Exactly. So this is the exact, and this is why I'm so passionate about like these discussions on like kind of tapping into your inner greatness.
Yes.
And honoring the truth of the struggle that it takes to achieve things. Because when I work with my patients, like I'm real blunt with people. Like no matter if I'm working home health with someone who's like homebound, one of my like top level kind of racer guys, like I tell them, I'm like, we start with, what are your goals? Okay, if they haven't even thought about their goals, like that's the first thing. Like you need to actively sit, reflect on what the hell you want in life.
Right.
And if you can't even start with some kind of vision, clarity of vision, so you got to start with that. And let's reverse engineer that. So let's get the goals down first. What do you actually want?
Right.
Do you actually want that? Good. And we back it up. It's like, okay, here's what it actually takes to accomplish that. Let me explain this to you. Now, do you still want that goal? Yes, I do. Awesome. Now it's time to get to work and put in the struggle. Right. And my role is to like, let's identify it. And we call it a plan of care in traditional terms.
Okay.
I call it like our plan.
Yeah.
Like my biggest value that I bring to my patients is not exercise. It's like anything I give you, if I've given you an exercise, I did not make it up. 100%. I did not make this up.
Right.
Just like doctors, they didn't invent Tylenol when they tell you to take it. They know that it's the right tool for the job.
Right.
So like when people are like, oh, I've seen that exercise before, I'm like, good. You are an informed consumer of exercise. I'm telling you this is the right thing right now. But what I do is I guide the plan for long-term things.
Okay.
And I maintain the 30,000-foot strategic view of your battlefield. You're down in the trenches. Right. You're trying to fight the one person in front of you right now to stay alive.
Yeah.
I'm up here saying, like, where are we going to move as a battalion to the next objective? That's where I'm at. So in that becomes this big educational thing I see in people is they'll come to me and they're like, I'm not seeing the results I want. I'm struggling. These things are in life. And I kind of have to remind them and be like, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's been, or 2 months.
You know it literally.
Like you broke your leg in half 2 months ago. You have a fake leg basically right now. Give it some damn time.
Yeah. I often like to tell people the 10,000 hour rule. Do you know about this?
Oh yeah, it's in general. It's like in order to master some type of skill or a tool or instrument.
Right.
It's not necessarily 10,000 hours. It's like, but the idea is you have to put in a shit ton of time practicing it. Like when I was playing drums full time, like I probably put in like 12 years straight of just playing drums every day to even get competent to go play and get paid for it. Like,
do you have a drum set at home?
I have a little kid's drum set now.
Okay, wait. I wanted to ask you about your kids.
I had to sell all my drum sets when I got married because we moved in this tiny little apartment. And I needed money to like get our family started.
Do you want drums again?
Oh hell yeah!
Okay, when are you gonna get a drum set?
Honestly, after I finish renovating my house.
Okay, so you have some priorities now.
I have a cajon. I still play on the cajon.
Okay.
Like a box drum, but yeah, that idea of legacy.
Yeah.
Is like why. Like, if you don't have that, like, long-term vision, like, if you don't actively think, at least, like, 60 minutes a week, like, okay, what does 10 years from now me look like?
Right.
What does 20? What does 30?
Right.
What do people want to remember me as or remember my contribution to the world?
Sure.
If you've never had that kind of, like, sit down and think about that, let this podcast inspire you to, like, at the end of this, sit quietly and picture yourself 30, 40, 50 years from now and look back and say, what would I want to have left as an imprint on the world? Not saying you got to change the world completely, but change the world around you. Like, my world is not the earth. My world is typically like this Southern California area of people I can have direct impact on. I want to change that world because when you change that world, those people ripple out effect, change other people.
Organically.
Sure. You know, if you can help one person.
Yeah.
And bring them up to another level they never thought they were capable of.
Right.
They can do the same for the people around them.
So here's the thing. Upstairs, I have a vision board. I don't know. It's probably 4 feet by 5 feet. There's all kind of stuff on there.
Solid.
It literally took me, like, this conversation that one should have with themselves about vision and their end goal. I took it so serious that it took me about a year to really ask myself these real important questions of what, when, where, how, all these things. And it's there. It's like, it's right. I have a flat screen on my wall, and right under that, when I wake up, it's right there.
And that's good. You have to expose yourself to these things.
Like, yes. And you can't be afraid, because I'm telling you, when you think about these things, they are scary when you think about them. Scary, because they're way bigger than what you feel like you can lift. It's like somebody saying, "Oh, can you lift this car?" And you going, right now, but over time.
Yeah, it's like, say, how do you eat an elephant?
Right.
One bite at a time.
Exactly. Let's do this.
Yeah. You start like, damn, that's a big elephant.
Sure.
And I don't eat meat. This could be a real problem.
Yeah, I'm a vegan. How do I do this?
The tofu elephant?
Right, tofu? I got this, baby.
But like, the scary part of it is kind of like the important part. So like, my mentors tell me all the time, I think I need to tell everyone who's a patient of mine this, like, people grossly overestimate what they can do in a month. But they massively underestimate what they can do in a year.
Oh my God.
And that is so true. And I'll take a patient, one of my patients, he crashed and like broke his leg completely in half. Very traumatic. Oh. Like, I was there.
I know this.
I was there. This is my guy, if you're on social media, this is Iron Man Dan. He crashed out, broke his leg in half. I thought he was dead.
This was GMR, right? Or ball?
No, this was oh God, that crazy descent climb that they do on the Nosco ride that they neutralize every year when you go down it.
Deer Creek. No,
not Deer Creek.
No.
The first one. Anyways.
Okay, good.
Yeah. He crashed. I rolled up. Like, I'm training like the very initial stuff you roll up to a trauma. So I rolled up and I was like, cool. This dude looks dead. Like, legitimately, I was like, this sucks. So immediately it was like airway, breathing, circulation. Like, let's just get him stable.
Sure.
So I stabilized his neck. Make sure he was breathing. We had a firefighter on my team there. We kind of like got him all stable. I thought he was dead. Brings his conscious back. Anyways, long story short, we take him to the hospital. His leg's broken in half, a distal femur fracture. That was like over a year ago. And like, he was in that dark place. He was like, I remember saying like, this is over. I'm never riding bikes again. I was like, bro, this happened like 6 hours ago. You can't tell that person that. You can't tell that person that. But like, it's now been about a year and 3 months.
Yeah.
And we've rehabbed him back from like getting your leg moving. I was the first that took him out of his house. Like, he was sitting there, his leg up in a cast with a walker, and he's like, I haven't left the house because I don't know how. I was like, man, I'm gonna show you. I'm a PT. Get your ass out of that chair. I'll put you in my van. We'll prop that leg up. Go get you coffee. But just like introducing to him like what you can do one little step at a time, and having that person who's an objective sideline coach to be like, man, get up. You're gonna be okay. And never relenting on that.
Yeah.
Fast forward a year now, he was hanging out with me last week, and he's like, Timmy, I just ran like 5 miles at like a 6-minute pace again. And I was like, with a titanium rod in your leg, 13 months after crashing it in half. And he's like, thank you. And I was like, you underestimate what you can accomplish in 1 year. But in a month, you're like, man, I'm no better than I was last month. Well, yeah, you're looking at too small a time period. The human body takes forever to make permanent change. The body doesn't like quick change. Quick change is called trauma.
Right.
So, when you're on that struggle, you got to remember, like, and I have to tell myself all the time, like, by the end of this week, I want to have my year's goals done. Like, no, that's a year away.
Right. Right.
Like, you know, so one of the other things I tell people, both my patients, bike riders, everyone, is stay objective. It's really easy to use your kind of like transient emotional state and like amplify that for the whole theme of your life. Like, hey, like yesterday in the morning, I was a little sad. Doesn't make me a sad, depressed person forever. It's just that moment I was a bit sad.
Right.
But then we kind of turn it around. So like the things to stay objective on, like my patients, it's like, hey, I take pictures of them all the time. Like, hey, here's a picture of you when we first started with your knee bending this much. Or a video of you squatting like this. Or here's a bike video of your fit and how wonky your knee was on the first day. Let's revisit that like 5 months later, and now look at the improvement. Look at your power. I wrote down, I had my guy I saw yesterday who was hit by a car back in like September. And when I first saw him and his initial evaluation, I literally wrote, can tolerate 1 hour coffee ride spin pace, and then back hurts like 5 out of 10, pain down his leg. He came in for his visit yesterday. We put it in the work since like September. And he's like, yeah, yesterday, which was Sunday, I did 6 hours, like 12,000 feet of climbing, like with dirt roads up in like San Diego. And I still had a sprint left after 108 miles. And today I feel good. I was like, attaboy. But that took, what is that, 9 months?
Sure.
But still less than a year. So staying objective is the most important thing you're going to do if you have some massive, huge goal you want to get to.
Beautiful.
I guess that's number 3, is stay objective with all your stuff. We're not even keeping track anymore.
No, here's the thing. You said so much, you've done like 7 or 8 points. No one even knows. Like, literally, I was going to edit and be like 0.1 and 0.2. I don't even know where we're at now. It's like 0.98 now.
Cool. So 0.99. But
Timmy top 1,000. Yeah.
The thing is, Sean, like, why I wanted to come to this and why I like try to get out and talk to as many people as possible is that I made this realization a long time ago. It's like, there's so much. It is so easy to be exposed and like listen to so much negative shit out there.
Right.
You're not good enough. You know, people compare themselves to others, and it's like comparison is the death of happiness. Yes. The moment you compare yourself to someone else, you're going to look, we're programmed to look at our flaws.
Right.
So like I do this exercise with like my patients and like people I'm trying to mentor. I do this like, okay, make a list. On the left side, give me 10 things that are bad about you, you know you don't do wrong, you need to improve.
Right.
Then do 10 things that make you amazing. That 10, watch, you do this right now. Make it 2 columns. Yeah. This column, 10 things that are bad about you and you know are wrong. Right. You can do that in 5 seconds.
Right.
10 things that are great about you, I'll wait.
I'm still waiting. I might be different.
But okay, then the people who go, well, I'll tell you the 10 things that are great about me.
Yeah.
And what makes me an awesome person to contribute to the world.
Yeah.
They've actually trained their minds to spend time thinking about that. Like our primal nervous system is programmed to identify threats and think the worst. When you're walking on a trail and you hear a rustle in the bushes, you don't think, fuzzy bunny.
No.
Cute puppy. You think fucking bear. Like
mountain lion.
We are programmed to think of threats. And because of that,
right.
we identify bad things. You amplify that with a lot of people on social media or being exposed to just that negative thought viruses of like, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And people kind of like projecting their insecurities on you. Like
I
tell people I'm an entrepreneur and I started my own practice and I'm like, but like, I could never do that. I'm like, well, I'm not you. Like,
I always say
you could, but it's totally different. So one of my biggest things is try to project positivity in any way into the world.
Okay.
And the biggest thing is when I'm with someone, my goal is to like bring the joy, like bring something that's fun and bring it more positive. Because at the end of the day, this is not that serious. Like we're not trying to find fresh water for our kids to drink. We're not trying to like not step on IED bombs and like this village that we're living in a war zone. Like we're not worried about some warlord coming and raping our families. Like our problems are generally pretty benign.
Pretty much.
But that doesn't mean the problems that we have, we tend to kind of amplify. So like what I want to do whenever I'm with someone as a patient, as a bike rider, as a human being is bring the joy and then and I want to call out something great in them. So when I'm with someone, I look at them and I go, so like, hey, like you are a great facilitator of other people's like greatness. Like, you know, you're a good leader.
Sure.
Like, hey, like you're very compassionate about other people. Like when you show someone that someone sees that in you, they see it better in themselves.
Right.
So that's what I do with my patients. They come in and they've got this like I'm broken mentality. And I look at them and I kind of make them do something that's a little bit hard. Like my style of therapy is like I make you do hard shit.
Okay.
Because when you do hard things, you find something in yourself that says, I am strong and I'm resilient and I can do this.
Right.
And I see them in you. You have strength within you more than you know. And right now there's just this little smoke screen up of this problem. Sure. So when you bring that out of someone, they rise up and they do a lot better. Now that person can do that to the next person in their life, their spouse, their loved ones, another stranger. So when we're riding on bikes and I roll up in a group of people I've never seen before, you know, the older version of like our so like, oh, they're slow, we gotta blow past them.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. Or you can roll and be like, hey,
right.
I see you getting after it, taking the hard way up the climb,
Sure.
not quitting it. I
Right.
saw you stand up right there. That's awesome.
Right.
Someone sees that in themselves, they're like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
That's what No Bricks is about. We want to reward all those small steps and those big steps. That's why there's bounties for longest miles ridden in one day, and then there's also a bounty for a guy who helped pull over to help a guy change a tire.
Yeah.
It all means something in the grand scheme of things.
Oh yeah.
But you have to look at the whole picture of it all and know that everyone's on their own journey, riding their bike, running, or trail running, or whatever they're doing.
Everyone is on their own journey.
There it is.
That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Like, I race bikes.
Yeah.
I love racing bikes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay at racing bikes. Like, I could train more, I could race more, stuff like that. I used to only base, like, I had talked to some of my racing clients, is like, they'll call me almost like as a coach and be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I didn't get the result I wanted. And I go, hold up.
Right.
Did you give your best?
Right.
Did you learn something new? Can you hang your hat on your effort?
Right.
If you did those three things, I don't care if you win or if you came dead last, like, that is of value.
Right.
Like, if you didn't leave everything out there and know that you could have done better, like my rules for racing, like, I never quit a race until a ref pulls me.
Me too.
Or I finish.
Right.
And I don't care.
Right. It's a wrap.
And I race, like, I'm a category 2, so I race Pro and 2 stuff. So I get dropped a lot.
It's cool.
And I am always still riding.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm like, cool. I learned something.
Sure.
I learned a little bit how to position better. I learned how to dose my effort better. Did I give it my best?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I basically pretty much puked trying not to get dropped, and
Sure.
I maxed out everything you can quantify.
Sure.
But then the last part is like, hey, well, this is for me. I want to show to my kids, like, hey, you're going to not win everything, but you always lose when you pull out of the race.
Right.
So I've got a lot of race results that I'm the last person.
It's cool.
I'm so proud of that.
Right.
Because over time, you get really good at riding by yourself and trying to chase. And once in a while, that ability to, like, double down and solo an effort pays off. I've won one road race ever because I was able to ride away and just be like, well, I'm just going to ride like I'm dropped. And I'm just going to ride as hard as I can until we finish this or I get pulled.
Wait, you literally said, I'm going to ride like I'm dropped?
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I love that.
When you're dropped is not the time to be like, yeah, I'm going to pull the plug.
No,
when you're dropped is like, I will give 110% to get back on.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'm going to ride to the finish because, I paid for this. So I want my miles.
Right.
And the other thing is, like, this is the best training and the best riding out there.
You know what's so crazy?
There's no stops.
I've entered one road race.
Yeah.
It was the Poor College Kids road race up in Santa Barbara.
So fun.
Okay. Now, it's the first one I did. I'm like, I'm not a road race guy. As you can tell by my quads and my stock, I'm just kind of like a crit guy, like hammer, hold down, watch for a long time. But I'm not trying to, I'm not that guy. I have no desire to be.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, what the heck? I'm going to go do this race. So we do the race, and I think I was a category 4 at the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's only a certain amount of laps. I think it was like 3 laps or something. It's like, I don't know, like 50 miles. I don't know. Something.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going. When we start out, and literally, I'm anticipating a crit style race with this because it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So like we go, and it's kind of cool. Like people are like chilling. It's like a Sunday ride. I'm like, okay, I can do this. Yeah. So then the hill comes, and they go, pow, they turn it on. I'm like,
yeah, they go hard when it's hard.
Oh my, right. So I stay in. I'm like, okay, all right. Now make it over that first little hump, and I fall to the back. And I remember Justin and Corey telling me, it's like whenever there's a hill, get to the front, and then slowly work your way back, but you stay in the front. Don't start the climbs at the back.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
You can't climb, start at the front. Use survival climb.
Exactly. So I get up there, boom, fall back, still in the peloton. Boom. Okay, cool. We slow down, and in a road race, it's not as high intensity. In the Cat 4, I can speak for this one time. Yeah. It's not high intensity the whole time. So we kind of slow down, boom. Finish the first lap together. Second lap, we hit someone got my way or something. I started the climb at the back. Mistake.
Yep.
Learned something. So me and another big guy, he was bigger than me, like 2 or 3 guys. So they leave us, and I see that last row. I'm just like, no, slow motion. So we're alone, and you know it's bad shape when you see the pace car that's behind the Peloton when they pass you up, like, and you're
like,
seeing
they roll by and they go, "You're dead to me."
Right.
And they keep going.
Right.
They're like, "You're on your own, buddy."
Yeah.
You're like, "I got no cell phone. I got no seat bags. I'm an idiot."
Yeah.
I hope we live out here.
Right. So I'm like, oh damn.
Hope we live.
So I keep going. And I just put my head down. I talked to other dudes. I was like, guys, we got to work to get back on. We can catch him, because it's a lull. We know between these two climbs. Let's work. So we get on the front. I mean, it turns into a crit. We're like holding like 400 or 500 watts, taking like nice little pulls, boom, boom, boom. And I see him like out in the distance. I'm like, let's go, let's do it. So another guy gets on the front, and then we start seeing the car. And like literally, I got on the front. And when I saw the car, I come up on the back of the car. And they're like so surprised to see us. They're like, what?
Who are you?
Right.
You were dead to us.
Right. I'm like, I'm back, bitch. So I look back, and the other guys that fell off, unfortunately. But I made it back to the Peloton on the last lap. And I was happy because when I crossed the finish line, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 guys behind me.
Yeah.
I wasn't last.
Yeah.
So I was like, I survived the road race. I wasn't first, but I wasn't last. And I took that as a W.
You learned something.
Absolutely.
You gave it your all. And you can, to this day, hang your hat on that effort and be like,
Absolutely.
I was proud of that day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell a lot of guys, they start out as Cat 5s and they're like, what should I do? And blah, blah, blah. My first Cat 5 race, like I was telling I'm an email. Like literally, it was crazy. Like I didn't know about bell laps or anything like that. My numbers on backwards. I'm in the helmet. Like I was pedaling. Like it was just horrible. I was out in the wind, like sprinting. Like I'm like, no one's chasing. I go back in. I almost get drunk. It was just horrible. But now I've learned. It was crazy. It was not even okay. But I've learned just how to race, and over time, critiquing. There's been times when I've actually won races and felt like I didn't race a good race.
Oh yeah.
Right. So there's this balance of saying, okay, did you win? Yes, but I could have done a lot better when this happened and when that happened. And learning how to race is more important than being the strongest guy.
Yes.
Right.
The strongest person usually, doesn't always win.
Right.
It's not.
It doesn't work that way because when I first started,
especially in this like Southern California, people aren't here like Southern California,
right,
and understand like the SoCal style of crit racing.
Yeah,
it is like close quarters, contact.
Oh,
it's moving chess.
Sure,
it is not who's the biggest, baddest, strongest person wins. It's the person who is the most strategic, has the best tactics. Like. Right. I basically ride and train like 6 hours a week because I work full time and I have family and stuff like that.
You got like 9 kids or something like that?
I have almost 3, but like the point is,
because she's pregnant again?
Yeah.
You have a third on the way.
Yeah.
You keep making babies.
Yeah. Okay,
so you have one son.
I have 2 sons.
Wait, which one did you send me the video when he was on the little bike and he was saying no brakes? Which?
That's my middle son. That's my middle kid's Maverick. That's my 2-year-old. My 4-year-old Jackson, my 2-year-old Maverick, and then my baby's gonna be your girl's name Sophia.
So are you done?
Oh, probably not.
You're gonna keep going.
I'm young, man. I like kids.
All right.
Yeah.
So what are you shooting for? What's your goal? Since we're talking about goals, 6 kids, 13 kids, 50 kids.
I don't put a number. I put on something that can balance our ability to like pursue our careers and profession, but like give like a home life balance in which like our kids feel fulfilled and we're present enough in their lives. Like, there's that number is special for everyone.
Sure.
Some people it's 0. Like that's just not in the cards for them. They make that choice. And you have to 100% respect that. Like that's great. You don't want to have kids? Perfect. So if you're like, I want to have all of them. You're like, that's great. Like everything comes with its own challenges.
All right.
Our family is unique, and everyone family, and both my wife and I are PTs, and we kind of want to balance our career goals.
All right.
And part of why I'm like an entrepreneur, want to build this business and work with the people that I know I can help the best, is because it helps me be most present in my kids' life. So like now that I can have my own practice and work with the people that I know I can help the best, I don't work as much in the traditional sense. I'm not gone as much.
Right.
I work a ton. A lot of it's like at home and during certain hours, but I'm able to like go fly kites with my kids or like take them to field trips and stuff like that. So like I've worked hard for the ability to do that. Whenever it gets to the point where I can't be present enough because I have another child or something, it'll probably like change that decision. But that's something that both my wife and I will have to decide in the future, and you have to respect that for everyone.
Your wife. Let's talk about her for a minute.
She's amazing.
Absolutely. I met her like 2 or 3 times, just real quickly.
Yeah.
You guys met. You're 28 now. You met. What age were you when you met her?
21.
21. Now
22. She started dating when I was 21. Yeah, when I was 21.
21, and she's the only girl out of a bunch of boys, right? No, she has brothers.
She has a brother and she has a sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she had a bunch of brothers.
I don't have any siblings.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew you didn't have siblings. You're an only child.
I'm an only child.
And your last name is Woo.
Yeah.
You come from this whole thing over here.
Yes.
All right. So, and then her siblings. Did you have a thing where how do you feel how did it mesh between the backgrounds of you being an only kid to having this wife or girlfriend who was experienced in having brothers and sisters in the bigger family?
Total culture shock.
Okay, I want to hear about this.
So I'm an only child. I don't have any siblings.
Okay.
I don't really have any cousins. And big family things, growing up, big family events where people are close together was not a thing.
Okay.
I wasn't used to that.
Okay.
So when I married into a family that when we have a normal just whatever family party is 40 people, the first time I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? It was weird. And I got I wasn't used to it. And
sure.
So it took a long time to get used to it and be this is a normal thing. It's this is what family is. And so getting exposed to that more, now it's become the highest priority. Family things become the highest priority. There's a race every year on Easter Sunday.
Right.
Now that I'm part of this big family and stuff, and I don't race Easter Sunday. We do big Easter things because that's where we have fun with the kids and they go and do Easter egg hunt. And now I have brothers and sisters and actual family members. And now I've kind of realized the idea of family is different for everyone. You make your own family.
Sure.
My family, all the people I would ride or die for, have shown up when they're at the hospital and taking care of them, are not blood. Those people that I consider family, they're not even blood.
Right.
But you drop the hat, I'm there, and I would just lay it down for them.
Okay.
So everyone's you have to have, and this I tell my patients this, and I want to tell everyone out there, you need to make your own family outside of just your blood family.
E-tap or DI?
Wow, that's a random change.
That's how I do it.
Well, I've never ridden electronic group set, so I have no opinion. I have mechanical durace.
All right. So, have you ever ridden SRAM?
Yes, mechanical. I had a SRAM bike. Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did.
But
so I like both. So I have a SRAM gravel bike.
So you just said you're bi.
I'm bi Grupo.
Yeah. Bi Grupo. He goes both ways. No, but go ahead.
I have a SRAM gravel bike. I have a Giant TCX, a SRAM Apex, the bottom level SRAM.
Okay.
And that stuff is indestructible, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because when you're bouncing all over the damn place, you just basically have to hit somewhere near the bar, and it'll shift. And I love that.
That's why I love SRAM. That's why when I started on SRAM, I never had a durace setup, but I went with SRAM.
Yeah.
And it was just I was like, man, it doesn't feel smooth like the other ones, but it's like a race car. It's if you driven a Ferrari or something or a Porsche, when you put it in gear, it's there.
It goes
right. Boom.
Boom.
Right. It's and it doesn't slip.
So I had a SRAM bike for years. I loved racing with the SRAM bike, especially with crit racing.
Yeah,
because you could use the sound of shifting to as a tactic.
I love this.
I would intentionally shift as loud as possible.
Right.
When someone was on the rivet to let them know I'm gonna attack you.
Sure.
And I would go next to them and go, "Pam!" and then stare them in the eyes as I rode away.
Yeah.
But now I have a Durace bike, and Durace is a little bit more refined.
Sure.
I'd say Durace is the professional's working tool group set.
Right.
It is massively durable. It is smooth.
It's smooth.
It's refined.
Yes.
It's the professional's level tool.
It's like a Cadillac. It's kind of very smooth. It is that.
Yeah. You know, SRAM is
yeah.
SRAM has some attitude to it.
Sure.
On a more practical sense, SRAM will find a way to work.
Right.
Like, I've crashed a SRAM bike out and, like, literally, like, used a rock to bang the derailleur back, and it would keep going, and I would
not advise banging rocks on any group set. I'm just going to say that right now. Just, if you're just starting, please don't do what Timmy just did. It's not the optimal thing to do.
Okay, here's I've raced SRAM and Dura-Ace, and I have both bikes, and still, I would equate, like, shifting and racing SRAM to, like, shotgunning a Bud Light. You just go, ha! Let's go.
Right.
My Dura-Ace, when I'm like, is more like, I'm going to aerate a wine and put it in, you know, like,
sure.
I'm going to, Dura-Ace is like, I look at the bottle, I do this, I kind of swirl it.
Yeah.
That was a smooth shift.
Right.
That was some good actuation.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Yeah, it's like, you know what goes good with this?
Right.
You know, like, do a cheese goes good with this wine. It's like, you know what? Some zips would go good with this Dura-Ace. Like, that's... And so, like, you know, if I was to buy another bike, like, I don't know. I really like Dura-Ace. It's just really smooth.
Yeah, I'm an E-Tap SRAM guy.
I mean, again, I've never had anything that nice. Any money I have that's really nice, I'm like, let me put that in like my business or like my kids or something.
Yeah, I've
rocked the same bike for like 3 years now because it's like dad proof. Like my bike is, I have an aluminum, I have a CAD 12 disc Dura-Ace the first year it came out.
I love the CAD 12, by the way.
I love that bike because I can hook up my kids in a trailer to it. I'm not worried about cracking the frame, and the disc brakes will stop them.
Right.
I've ridden that bike like on gravel rides, like.
With the kids, you take the kids on gravel mountain bikes.
Yeah, I've done that. That's pretty fun. But I'll take my CAD 12 in the dirt and race it and all that stuff, and it does fine in the dirt.
Yeah.
Throw some zips on it, clean it up. I can go do a road racer career on it. That's all around.
I have a video of you.
You do?
Yeah. On the Nosco ride.
Oh.
See your face? Do you see your face right now?
Oh.
Do you see your face? I just want to listen,
Someone
man.
caught the ultimate ugliest picture of me on the Nosco ride, Deer Creek.
You know, here's the thing. I'm gonna roll this footage back because I want them to see how you don't quit.
I don't need brakes. I'm not even moving. You need brakes to stop if you're moving. I'm not even moving.
You're going backwards, actually.
See that it works still.
How you feeling?
Garbage.
Really?
Oh, man.
What's wrong? The legs or the lungs?
Fucking everything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'll see you at the top, baby.
You got some water?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen. That day was crazy. I was at the top of the hill giving out money.
On Deer Creek.
On Deer Creek.
Oh.
See, it's not a fun memory. But here's the crazy thing about it. You were in the pain cave like mid-ride or before mid-ride?
Bro, I rolled out the parking lot in the pain cave.
Okay, so you started...
Out of shape.
Okay.
Out of shape.
But here's the thing, though. You didn't stop. Like, literally, I was at the top. Like, every cyclist had passed. And I was going to go home. And I was like, man, let me go see if I can give some nutrition to some of the riders.
Oh, this is that point. Oh, this is Latigo.
Right, so
this is later.
Exactly. So let's go there. I know.
Yeah.
I know this is a hurtful memory for you. But I'd never seen you like this.
This is the shit that builds character, Sean.
It is. This is what you get praised at the end. So let me explain. Okay, so literally, wait, this is Latigo. Wait, no, what is this?
This is Latigo.
Latigo.
Latigo, Latigo.
We say Latigo.
I'm not from LA. So
yeah, it's Latigo.
Latigo.
So, but wait, let me finish. So I'm like, I'm going home. I've been here all day. It's hot as hell. Like, I just got a couple waters back here, some goose stuff, some monster stuff. Let me just go up Latigo, see if anyone needs some help. I'm thinking like maybe there's no one left on the ride. Just kind of like, let me just cruise up here. So I'm just going up the canyon, and I see this guy in an orange kit. He's just like, right. Yeah. I mean, sweat. Just all bad. And I'm like, is that Timmy? Is that Woo?
It is.
I roll up on the side. I was like, I got to turn this camera. So I'm like, I'm looking at you, and I'm just like, this guy's in the hurt locker. Like, literally, there were people, because there weren't water stops. They took out a water stop or something in the ride. There was supposed to be one at the bottom.
There wasn't?
There wasn't. So a lot of the riders were banking on this, drinking their water. They got to this point, and there was no...
I banked on it.
Oh, my God. So everybody on that road, it was 150,000 degrees. They had already been up Deer Creek, which is hell. Right. And I see you. You looked even coming up Deer Creek, you looked a little like you were like kind of in there. When you were going up Latigo, you looked dead. You looked like someone shot you.
I was a shell.
Yeah, you were a clone of who I normally see you as. You went up Latigo, right? Did you finish?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, I'm telling you, I had never seen...
And on the way up, anyone that was pulled over on the side of the road, I could see it in their eyes.
Yeah!
I'm going to quit. And when I rolled up, I forced myself to look a little more confident and be like, you got this, man. Let's get on this. It has to end. It has to end. Just get on. We're going to finish it. As soon as I passed, I was like, oh, shit.
Right.
So
and you had no water.
Zero water. The bottles are dead. Out of food. I'm just like, enough times I've been in that scenario, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I can make this to there. Sure. I hear the Prius.
Right.
You're basically a spaceship roll up. Classic. Hit the phone already.
Right.
And I look over at what I said was just like, you're like, no brakes, baby. I was like, I don't need no brakes. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not going. I don't need brakes. I'm not going anywhere.
That's right. But you were.
But I was.
Yes.
And then you pulled over and I was just like I just stood there for a second and you're like, you need some water? I was like I never have before.
Oh, yeah.
And you gave me some water.
Yeah.
And I was good enough. I ended up catching up. I caught up to Jesse Anthony. Jesse Anthony on Rally was like chauffeuring someone or whatever they call it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had I saw his rider who chauffeured, we went over the top of the hill, he started to descend, and she pulled over and just kind of leaned over the handlebars. And I was like, Jesse, just go. I gotta catch up to Jesse, let him know that his chaperone back there. So I sprinted and burned some match to chase down Jesse. I was like, Jesse, your chick's way the hell back there? And he's like, oh, I'm going to get her some water. And I was like, take my water, give it to her.
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, I'm gonna go get some water. I'm like, there ain't no water up there.
None, because the top of the hill, they used to have a house there with a spigot. No. They closed it off, and this is my thinking because I think some cyclists just took advantage of it and started leaving trash there or something like that,
which is rude. Dude, shove that trash in your bib or something and just take it out later. Don't I do GMR cleanups every year with Impact.
Oh, nice.
And I hate it when we find trash that is very obviously a cyclist.
Sure.
Some dudes going up there to get high and bone are not throwing Cliff Bar gels out the window. You know what I'm saying? You see the spots where it's McDonald's bag, cigarettes, condom. All right, someone had a good time.
Right. You
go around the corner, it's goo, Cliff Bar, goo. You're like, bruh.
Yeah. It's so easy to just go like this.
Don't do Instagram # outside is free Earth Day and then throw some trash on the ground. Pick that up.
Yeah. It's no reason for it.
Pick it up.
Because even if there's so many places to stick a wrapper. I know that sounds bad, but I'm just saying.
Let's run through the list.
All right.
Pockets on your jersey.
Yep.
Inside the bib.
Yep.
Between the little cables on your bike. You really get desperate.
Up inside of your...
Up inside of here.
Yeah, on your bib.
Back of your jersey.
Yep.
Shoving your helmet.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Put the trash away. That's a very big tangent.
Yeah. So when they got there, it was a really hard day. I saved who else? I think John Lance cramped up because there was no water. He was on the street. John Lance he's on jail velo.
Mind you, this is nothing on the NOSCO ride. Huh. The NOSCO ride is amazing.
No.
Everyone should do it. And the volunteers who are out there
are amazing.
Best volunteers. This woman, I forget her name, she drove back down to one of the rest stops that they're 2 rest stops that are really close together. And people are I'll get the next one. Yeah. She went back, loaded her truck up with all the water ice chest, drove halfway up, and was just distributing it on the side.
Yes.
And these people were being all rude, all rude, oh, why aren't you down there? And all this stuff. And I was like, man, shut the hell up. Right. I was like, thank you, God, for taking the effort to drive down there and bring up water for a bunch of dumb bike riders. You can't say thank you. And I was like, this is my other advocacy. If you're on some type of ride and someone is serving you at a sag tent with some water or some food, you give that person a handshake and a hug and a thank you because something time is precious and they chose to go out there and give their time and energy to feed you a bunch of free crap. Say thank you to them. Right. And don't just be like, where's my stuff? And this isn't a bike
No one
race.
owes you anything.
No one owes you jack.
Yeah.
Be grateful for it.
And here's the thing. I just want to do a shout out because I know Nasco, what's his brother's name?
Jack.
Jack. I just rode with Jack. I'm sorry. Having a brain fart. But I just rode with Jack, and we were talking about the Nasco ride. If you have a chance to ever do the NOSCO, and I'm speaking to people that
don't... Is it November 4th every year?
I think so.
Whatever day of the week it is, I think it's like November 4th.
Yeah, because a lot of people from SoCal hear about this ride. Do the ride. It's amazing. Just make sure that you have your nutrition and your water.
God.
Yeah. And if other guys were doing this. This was I thought was kind of genius because at that time of year it gets really hot really quickly. It's just like it'll be like nice and cool.
It was cold and then
it
hot.
just boom.
Whoa.
There is no gray area.
No.
So just make sure you get hydroed up, you get nutritioned up, but you have to do this ride because it's amazing. The views are incredible. There's some of the best climbing in SoCal, like on the whole coast. Like literally, it's
and there's like 1,000 people.
It's 1,000 million people.
Joke.
Yeah, it's no joke. And there's pros that come out. There's like new riders that come out. There's different routes you can take, so you don't have to take like the.
There's a shorter route.
It's a shorter route.
I got down from like the turnout through the shorter route.
Yeah.
Immediately pulled over and called my buddy. I was like, John, where are you? I'm like, turn left. Don't do it. Don't go long. Go short. This is a mistake.
Right.
Go short. He's like, thank you, Timmy. You saved his life.
Right.
But the best, I love that ride. This is the first time I've done it.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is like, this is how rides should be done. Like, you can show up and it's like, there's no entry fee. We just ask for a donation.
Right.
And what it is like, money's tight, but like, I found a way to like put like $25 aside.
Sure.
But for every person that gives like $25 or like $5 there's someone that like my teammate gave like $400 because he believes in the mission of what the NASCAR ride was doing.
Yes.
So like because of that, it includes everyone. You have this amazing community of doing stuff.
Right.
And then like you get a ton of people.
Right.
So like the NASCAR ride is on my calendar for next year.
Always.
So much that I have the shirt from the NASCAR ride that you get if you give like any kind of donation.
Right.
And I wear that when I'm about to like eat crappy or not train because it reminds me. Because I look at it and I go, man, that day sucked. I gotta be in shape for that one. So I'll put that on and be like, I'm gonna have salad.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, this is crazy. All right, so Timmy, just give me your info just so people know how to get in contact with you and talk to you about anything bike, fitness, all that.
So here's what I'm going to leave people with. So my contact info on Instagram, I'm at SoCalBikePT. Okay. My website is www.worldwideweb.socalbikept.com. The website is continuing to get better and better. Right now, it basically is a picture of me.
If you want to see Timmy Woo's face, go to his website
basically me working with my boy Jason Paez.
Okay.
And my logo. But the point is, get in contact with me, those two ways. You can also email me, socalbikept@gmail.com. And here's what I want people... So, like, if there is literally anything, like, that's a problem, like, if you have, like, a little pain or you just want to learn more, or there's something like that, like, contact me. Send me a direct message. Get the conversation started. Mm-hmm. Like, my relationship I try to have with my patients, and I kind of tell them this, like I try to marry my patients. Like, I'm not trying to, like, get you in, get out, like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, like most chiropractors. Like, my goal is to be a resource in the long run. Like, some people, I've talked to someone for a year and helped them through text messaging, through little videos, through, like, calls, until they finally decide, like, come in and see me. And that's massively valuable. If I can help you in some way through social media, a call, a little video email here, and it helps you, good. Like, I am not off the bat trying to just like turn you into someone that comes to see me every week. There's people for that. What I want to be is a resource. So like, bring down the barrier to entry to getting solutions to your problems. Because right now, if you have a problem, the barrier is like, call a doctor's appointment, wait freaking 2 weeks, have them look at you and be like, take some aspirin and, ice it and then stop doing that. Here's a referral to some PT. You go there. And it's broken, that system. Trying to change that by my whole thing is I'm accessible. Like, my clients or even strangers can message me right now on Instagram. I will reply today. And it won't be like, oh, I know how to solve this, but you got to come in and pay me first. It's like, here's a selfie video. It's 30 seconds. Try this. Here's what I think.
Right. And
a lot of times I've helped people out that way.
That's dope.
So if you're hearing this and you have any inkling of like, I kind of got an issue, I want to know a little bit more about something or advise you. Like, a lot of people, they need someone to help them decide what to do next. Like, I'm a problem solver and decision maker. Like, I'll get someone on the horn and be like, okay. This is what you need to do, and I'll facilitate it. I'll loop you in on an email with the right person, because at the end of the day, we got to help each other out this whole scarcity mindset of like, you're my patients and you're my clients and no one else. Like, no, ride to the top of the mountain and look down at all the people and just feel small for a second and realize that there is an abundance out there. And the more people you can help, the better. So that's my contact info. If there is literally anything, contact me and I will give you my time and attention because you're worth it. If you take your time to contact me, I will be 100% present with you to help you out. And if not, I will find the right person. And I won't rest until we do that.
Well, there you have it. Timmy Woo. Timmy Woo.
Timmy Woo.
Timmy Woo doing his thing.
Timmy time.
We appreciate you. Thank you for coming by. No breaks.
No breaks.
Layer.
The lair.
Layer. Yeah.
The secret lair. Fuck, I'm fretting like, that I didn't get to ride my bike 12 hours, only 10 this week.
Right.
Like, fuck, I'm fretting, dumb shit. And then you go to work and you hear all day, oh my God, is my dad gonna live? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Check.
Yep.
Check my problems.
Yep. Reality check. Yeah.
You think your life's bad? I'm not on a machine breathing.
Yep.
A lot to be grateful for. You gotta be blissfully dissatisfied. Like,
Yeah.
I'm blissful right now. I love everything I've got and I'm doing. And I'm perfect the way I am right now. But I still am a little unsatisfied because I still gotta develop into the person I need to be at the next iteration, the next evolution. Too many people wait to be happy when something happens, when I get that job, when I get that girl, when I get that money. Like, fuck, you get that? And you're still just as happy. Like, you have to actively pursue being happy.
Make a decision
Make
now.
a decision. Like, you know what? I'll be happy as hell today.
Right.
I'm riding with no brakes.
Hey.
We're riding uphill. It's beautiful, sunny. My biggest problem right now is that my bike's creaking. But it works.
It works.
Its 3-year-old bike still works great.
Here it is.
You know what I'm saying?